I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you made more money than any boxer in history. But I'll be damned if you're gonna be on this show and I ain't gonna ask you. Are you thinking about coming back, Floyd Money Mayweather, with the Terence Crawford, with a Manny Pacquiao?
Great career, a tremendous career, an unbelievable career. But I mean, once again, we can't judge a guy. A guy is not great because he won one fight. To become a legendary great fighter, you must continue to go out there and beat good fighters.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. responded sharply after Terence Crawford suggested he ranks above him. Mayweather pointed to his flawless 50-0 record, championships in 5 weight classes, and more than 2 decades of dominance as undeniable proof that he stands alone as boxing's greatest of all time.
You did. Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that
Terence Crawford, however, has never wavered in his self-belief. Music. He has made it clear that he would confidently face a prime version of Mayweather, arguing that his adaptability, ring intelligence, and ability to switch stances seamlessly would provide the tools needed to outmaneuver Floyd at his best.
You were prime Floyd.
Me?
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters.
Shane Mosley has shared his view that Crawford might overcome the later Money Mayweather, yet he doubts Bud could defeat the younger, prime Floyd. According to Mosley, early career Mayweather possessed blazing speed, sharp aggression, and explosive offense that made him far more dangerous due to his athleticism and relentless attacking approach.
Kind of like has the same mentality I got. Like he's hungry and he's gonna come after you. Mayweather's very tricky, but at the same time, Crawford will go right-handed and left-handed. So it would be a big problem for Mayweather. And if Mayweather gets hit with Crawford, like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out. And Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing. Because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time. The only person that I see that I can kind of like equate to, and this I think Crawford would have the edge, is Castillo. When Castillo fought Mayweather the first time. And fights like that, Mayweather has problems with Crawford. Because Crawford hits hard.
4 years, Mayweather has protected his position atop boxing history with a perfect professional mark of 50 wins and no losses, titles across 5 divisions, and victories over icons such as Manny Pacquiao, Oscar de la Hoya, and Canelo Alvarez. Numerous experts argue that few fighters of this era have matched the consistency and excellence he displayed inside the ropes.
One of the great counterpunchers, one of the great boxers, one of the great fighters. I know he didn't get on his resume what was on the resume of some of these guys, but you can only beat the guys in your era. You can. I know he beat a couple really good guys in his era, and they were a little late. It was a little like Pacquiao was one of them. It was late in their careers. It wasn't when they were in the prime of their careers. I acknowledge that. I do. I acknowledge all of that. But he's still great. He's still great, and he's number 10. He starts this great list, and that's Floyd Money Mayweather. 49-0. Again, I don't even know what record to give you.
50-0. They count.
All right. So 50-0. I don't want to take nothing away from Floyd. You can't take nothing away from him. He's just great.
Crawford has frequently spoken highly of Mayweather, even labeling him the standout fighter of this generation. Music. Still, as Bud's resume continues to grow, including undisputed championships in multiple weight classes, debates comparing the two have intensified among fans and analysts alike.
With your legacy to Floyd Mayweather, how do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah, we ain't gonna.
Greg Hackett weighed in on the comparison. suggesting Crawford might be the more well-rounded competitor because of his physical dimensions, flexibility in style, and overall versatility. At the same time, Hackett acknowledged that Mayweather's lightning speed, ring savvy, and unblemished record make him one of the most formidable figures the sport has ever seen.
Of course, you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time, Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great. To me, I could be wrong, but he didn't look so great to me because he was learning a lot about Madrimov while he was in there with Madrimov, opposed to Floyd Mayweather fighting Canelo, and we already know what this is. You know what I'm saying? And it's totally different styles, but I still got to give it to Mayweather. His confidence, his endurance, his speed, his ring generalship.
Despite ongoing arguments over who ranks higher, Crawford insists that such debates can overshadow the individuality of each boxer's path. He speaks respectfully about Mayweather but emphasizes that his own legacy should stand independently, measured by his achievements rather than by comparison to anyone else.
Did you in your head size up Floyd? You know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boss, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fight. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
Boy, you capping, bro. I never thought fantasy fight me versus Floyd. Nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never.
Mayweather has also highlighted how he separated himself from his peers by taking ownership of his career decisions. Rather than relying solely on traditional promoters, he steered his own business ventures and carefully mapped out his journey both inside the ring and beyond it.
My own career and become my own boss. And when I was able to do that, because I talked about this on numerous different platforms, you know, how I bought myself out my contract for $750,000, and then I made $750 million in 3 fights. So I'm a little different from the rest of the fighters, you know. The less you get hit, the longer you last. So I didn't want to take too much punishment inside that square circle. If you see a lot of fighters, they can barely walk, they can barely talk, but still, you know, Floyd Mayweather has made smart moves, surrounded himself with a smart team, and I'm still making hundreds of...
According to Mayweather, his triumphs stem from excellence in competition and smart moves outside of it, remaining undefeated, cultivating a global brand, making calculated investments, and turning himself into one of the sport's most recognizable and financially successful figures.
You see certain things, you grow, and I truly, I wasn't where I wanted to be far with my career. I really wanted to be everywhere. I wanted the Mayweather brand to be all around the world, not just in the U.S. or not just in a certain city. I wanted to be worldwide. You know, a lot of athletes, only thing, I mean, their careers are short. My career is long, and my career wasn't just inside that square circle. My real estate portfolio is unreal. Even with these gyms, we're going to constantly build, put people in position to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we want people to come work out. And I talked about this with Robert Smith the other day. You know, when I text Robert and we talk, I said, you know, Robert, we both getting a lot of money. I don't have the money that you have. Of course, I'd have made over $1 billion, but health.
Andre Ward, a close ally of Crawford and a former world champion himself, has vigorously defended Bud against suggestions that his accomplishments pale in comparison to Mayweather's. Ward points to Crawford's technical mastery, adaptability, and systematic dismantling of elite opponents as clear indicators that he belongs in any all-time conversation.
Definitely one of them, for sure. Tyke Shakur, Devin, Boots, Jerron,
my favorite.
It's a lot of them, and they skillful in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that, like, I could bet the house on is Bud, because me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like, soon as I see this dude, He come in the room, while I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. You gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So skillful, yes. But this and this, it's different, man. There's not a lot of guys like that out there currently. There's a lot of guys that talking. But until you get in that real fire, I'm not saying a guy, you fighting a guy you should beat. I'm saying a guy that it's a 50-50 matchup. We don't really know what you...
Ward has gone as far as calling Terence Crawford the greatest fighter of this era. Beyond their friendship, Ward believes Crawford's resume, dominance, and stylistic flexibility set him apart in modern boxing. After Bud's commanding victory over Errol Spence Jr., Ward stated that Crawford had earned recognition as a defining fighter of his generation.
Great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turkey Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great, great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people called me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years.
Trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre firmly maintains that Terence Crawford has moved beyond Mayweather in overall ability. Following Bud's dominant wins and historic achievements across divisions, Bomac praises defensive awareness, adaptability, ring IQ, precise timing, and switch-hitting skills. Echoing sentiments previously voiced by Canelo Alvarez, McIntyre argued that Crawford can replicate everything Mayweather did while bringing added versatility and offensive imagination. He emphasized Bud's capacity to make real-time adjustments and impose both mental and physical control over opponents. Bomac also highlighted Crawford's undisputed championships in multiple weight classes as further evidence that his resume places him among boxing's elite.
On this time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. GOAT, greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches, not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists. You know, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Shane Mosley has described Crawford as a more complete package overall, citing his reach, physical strength, switch-hitting ability, and adaptability. Mosley believes Crawford's comfort in both orthodox and southpaw stances will present significant challenges for Mayweather, making him difficult to decipher during a bout. He also mentioned Bud's size and punching power as potential advantages in a tight contest. Nevertheless, Mosley expressed deep respect for Mayweather, recognizing his defensive genius, elite ring intelligence, and exceptional counterpunching. Even so, Mosley feels Crawford's defensive flexibility and ability to adjust could ultimately tilt a hypothetical clash in his favor.
Canelo is saying Crawford is better than Mayweather from an outsider's perspective, having not fought Crawford. Who do you think's better out of those two? Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually, he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, you know, Mayweather has his era.
Roy Jones Jr. has also offered perspective on Mayweather's legacy, acknowledging his all-time greatness while cautioning against viewing him as unbeatable. Jones argues that certain prime fighters, particularly those with contrasting styles, exceptional speed, and sustained pressure, could have posed greater challenges than many assume. He stresses that boxing often hinges on stylistic dynamics, meaning even defensive masters can struggle against opponents who blend timing, aggression, and adaptability. While fully respecting Mayweather's spotless record and defensive brilliance, Music Jones believes greatness is shaped by eras and matchups rather than guaranteed dominance over every conceivable opponent.
Anything a person does to stay undefeated that long, so I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50-0 that I think, oh, he the greatest fighter all the time? Nah. Chavez was 80-0 at one point. 80. He could have retired at 80-0. You go ever top that? No. He just didn't stop, right? You got the 50 and you stopped because of Rocky Marciano. Right. So Rocky died. If he wouldn't die, he probably would have kept going too. So and then at the end, you fight a guy that's 0-0 for number 50. How can I respect it? Yeah. You feel me? So, I mean, I love Floyd, don't get it wrong, I'm not hating on Floyd, but come on, bro, you fight a guy that's 0-0, kind of.
Amir Khan has voiced admiration for Crawford and sees a credible argument that Bud could defeat Mayweather. Khan highlights Crawford's remarkable sense of timing, his skill in disrupting rhythm, and his sharp in-fight adjustments under pressure. Reflecting on his own bout with Crawford, Khan recalled how Bud repeatedly caused opponents to miss by the slightest margins before firing back with crisp, precise combinations. He regards Crawford as superior to many elite welterweights and believes even Mayweather's legendary defense might struggle against Bud's blend of offense, intelligence, and adaptability.
I get my rhythm, but I have to say, probably one of the best fighters I've ever faced, honestly. And I've faced the likes of Canelo, and I was at boxing fighters like him. Every fight I've lost previously was when I was up on points, and obviously might have got caught with a good shot and got knocked out or whatever. But with Crawford, his timing was so on point. I mean, like, what a great fight he was, technician. And I'll always, look, I'm not a hater in any way. Look, even though the fight went the way it did, but I just think his timing was amazing, and just everything about the game plan he had for the fight. I mean, he's a brilliant fighter. You cannot take that away from him. And if he was to fight any welterweight, being Manny Pacquiao, being Errol Spence, being even Floyd Mayweather.
On ESPN's First Take, Stephen A. Smith applauded Terence Crawford following his unanimous decision win over Canelo Alvarez, declaring him the top fighter in the world. Smith emphasized the significance of moving up in weight to defeat a reigning super middleweight champion who held all 4 major titles, doing so with authority. He praised Crawford's technical excellence, mental resilience, and sustained consistency. In Smith's opinion, defeating elite names while remaining undefeated and capturing undisputed status in another division cements Crawford's position at the summit of today's boxing landscape.
Fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part, and it was definitely a legacy fight, something he had told me, he had been telling me.
Although Crawford is often described as having stepped away gracefully after building a remarkable legacy, critics have targeted Mayweather's recent exhibition appearances. Some argue these matchups, frequently staged against influencers or non-elite opponents, risk undermining both his legacy and the sport's credibility due to their limited competitive substance. Promoter Eddie Hearn openly criticized one such exhibition, labeling it dreadful and suggesting events of that nature can harm boxing's public image.
But other than Leonard Ellerby is a boxing man. He knows deep down that was absolutely horrendous. And the other thing is as well, when you got a guy in the environment that we're living at the moment, right, after a tough year for a lot of people, to come out of the press conference and just basically laugh at people and say, I just took your money. It was a bank job. It was a heist. It was like I conned you into, I mean, those pay-per-views in America, I think they were like $60. I mean, he basically just took the piss out of the fans. But I don't blame him. He made an absolute fortune. Good luck to him. I'm not having a go at Floyd Mayweather. I'm just a fan who's allowed to give my opinion. Absolutely dreadful. Even Floyd Mayweather was embarrassed at the press conference after. He basically said, I'm not doing that again. The biggest winner was Logan Paul. I mean, he's just gone 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. And actually, at times...
Do you think he got knocked out and held up?
No, I think at times Floyd Mayweather was actually...
So who truly owns a stronger legacy, Floyd Mayweather Jr., with his unbeaten record and meticulously navigated career, or Terence Crawford, who consistently sought out top-tier opponents at the height of their powers?